Hi folks, Six Slices here. Now, I've been wanting to do a full collection video, but I know that if I started at one end and went to the other, it would be too much to do in one go. So I thought I'd break it up into chunks. But then I thought, if I do, say by make or by country, you could end up with, here's a Barlow, here's another Barlow, and another Barlow, and another Barlow, death by Barlow. So what I thought I'd do instead was divide it up by handle materials. It's a bit arbitrary, I know, but I thought that way you might get a wee mixture, and a mixture we have, because in front of me I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 different countries' knives, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 makers. So I'll go through them quickly so as not to bore you, because we'll be here for a long time once we go on to the rest of them. The first one here, you may look and say, that's not mother of pearl, that's buffalo horn. And indeed it is, but it has a mother of pearl shield, a Shatton Morgan keystone. Now, this knife is interesting, not just because it's actually a very beautiful knife, which it is. It's a limited edition Shatton Morgan knife, but it was sent to me by Rick, and we'll come back to him in a while, but this was sent to me by Rick Warthog on YouTube. It was the first thing he ever sent me, and it was kind of a bit of out the blue. I mean, he did contact me and ask me for an address because he wanted to send me something, which I thought was, I was sort of half expecting a sticker or something. But no, this arrived, and I was kind of blown away by it, to be honest. I think it was a fantastic gift. It really is a beautiful knife. As I say, it's in buffalo horn with the keystone, and of course it's in full polish, which again is a thing I love. Anyway, let's move on, and we'll be here all day. Now, this one was a gift from my wife. It was for our wedding anniversary, 35th wedding anniversary this year, and the stone for that is jade. So she was looking for something with jade, and couldn't find anything, but she found something with malachite. Jade, malachite, both green stones, so it's a reasonable thing. But there's also a good deal of mother of pearl in this knife as well. Now, this is a Rough Rider, so you would expect the pearl to be a bit rough, but actually, to be honest, it's quite nice. The only criticism I've got of the pearl on this is that the pieces don't really match. It's not as though they've, cut up one piece into 3 and put them on each side of the knife, but there's quite a bit of mother of pearl here. I could turn it over. The same on the other side. And, some of it, the middle bits are not as good as the end bits, but the end bits on both sides are pretty good. So it's a doctor's knife. I've never had a doctor's knife before, which was interesting. And of course, I was in hospital at the time, so it made sense. Now, 30th wedding anniversary was pearl. And so this one, which was my first really quite expensive pocket knife, I think. My wife bought it for me for my for our 30th anniversary, and it cost then about just over £200, I think. So it was the first time I'd ever bought a knife that was in anywhere near that sort of level. Oh, how times have changed. It's beautiful. This is the one that when I'm buried, this is going to be in my pocket, so that when I'm dug up in thousands of years' time as a fossilized, bog man or whatever, they'll find this and know that in the 21st century we had beautiful, beautiful things. And this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's got mother of pearl, it's got black liners, but it's also got all the the file work on the back, made by Lee White, of course. And it was only my second tailor's knife, and my first, so say over £200. Now this one, I just bought. I saw it, I loved it. I like the gentleman's clip pattern. Again, it's Tailor's Eyewitness. Again, it's made by Lee White. It's got a great action on it. I quite like this as a pattern to carry. It's lighter than the Barlow. I do wish they still had the octagonal bolsters. They used to do the slim Barlow with the octagonal bolsters. I've got one. I'll get it out now because we've got enough already here. I'll crack on. And this one you may have seen, this was on my Stockman video last week. I've had this one a while now, and I've grown to love it. When I first got it, I was a little bit unsure. I thought some of the action wasn't great, some of the file work isn't perfect. But to be honest, I know the guy that made it, and it's a thing of beauty. And that mother of pearl is the best mother of pearl I've got on anyone. I mean, here it looks like it's feet thick. It's got such depth to it. It's just incredible. I mean, I don't know how these things come over on the camera. I know they never come over the same. And even the backside, absolutely beautiful. Again, this real depth to it. Looks lovely. Absolutely lovely. Tailors always seem to come up with the best materials. Now, these two are also Sheffield knives. This one here, I haven't had very long actually, and it was sent to me by, would you believe, Rick, in another act of mad generosity. Now this is George Wistenholme. Something I always like, and one of my subs the other day was saying they thought it spoilt the aesthetic. Having the IXL stamped in the blade, to me, is just a great thing. I love to see it. I've only got two that have got it stamped in, and then the new one has it on the lower bolster or end cap, but they do have it on the blade of this one. But I think it's sort of engraved. You can feel it, but I don't think it's stamped, and that might seem a quibble, and it probably is. I mean, I'm probably just being silly, but I prefer to see it stamped than engraved. But I have to say, I like to nitpick about things, but honestly, this knife has got to be one of the most beautiful knives I've ever had. Ever. It's just beautiful. I'll pick fault with it, but only because I want to. This next one was another George Wistenholme. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the stamp in it. I think this one is much more recent because it came to me with the box, and the box doesn't look very modern. So I suspect it's not, 21st century, but very late 20th century, I think. Now we're back to Rick again. There's another one that Rick sent me. He sent me 4 knives in one package. 2 George Wistenholmes, of which this was one, and a synthetic scale one, and 2 of these Kershaws. Now, what originally he was going to send me was one of these Kershaws, and I was sending him something in return, but he decided to top it up by sending 4 instead of just the one. Now, I really love these little knives. Rick found a supplier that has new old stock, so this came in its brand new box, but it was made probably in the 70s, I think. It was made in Japan, in Seki City. I don't know who by. There's no way to know. I mean, I can. Eventually, I might find out if I keep looking. But he sent me 2 of these. This one is in mother of pearl, and the other one is in tortoiseshell, but it's not really tortoiseshell. Now, it's got it on both sides as well, which is really nice. These are slip joint. So these are actually the sort of thing I'd really like to carry. And as I've always said, if you've got a second blade, I prefer the second blade with something other than just a knife. So incidentally, I've learnt my lesson for opening knives on camera. Learnt my lesson last week, but yes. So I prefer to have a something else other than a blade. If you're going to have more than one blade, you know, I know you can get your Stockman with 3 different blades, and it gives you all sorts of choices. A little knife like this just isn't that sort of thing. You've got a knife that you can cut things with, but here we've also got a bottle opener, a screwdriver, and a nail file. I quite like to have scissors on a knife. Well, I'm not going to get scissors on this one, but I do have a nail file, and I think that's a really good thing. Right, here we are, home run here. Now, that of course was made in Japan. This was also made in Japan, and I suspect these two were both made by the same company, although they're not branded the same. This has that little red chop, which is Almar's chop, or you know, it's an Oriental signature. You used to have a little stamp, and you would stamp any documents in the same way that we might now sign documents with our signature. And it says Almar, although to be fair to this knife, this was post Almar's death. So I've just gone brain dead, so I can't remember the name of the guy, but it says FMCO Japan, and that's the name of the guy that took over the brand. Now, once he took over the brand, he moved the manufacture of the knives from G Sakurai to Moki. Later, he moved the manufacture to China, but this one was still in Japan. So it's stamped Japan and FMCO, and so that would suggest it's probably a Moki made knife. This is a really beautiful one. It's black mother of pearl, black lip mother of pearl, which is just a little bit different. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny little knife. It came with a lovely wee sheath, which again has Almar's chop on it. It's a beautiful little thing. I don't know if I'll ever carry it. Plus it's a lockback, so it's a weapon of mass destruction, obviously, here in the UK. Anyway, last one is another well, this one's made by Moki. It's sold under the Moki brand, and it's tiny, but it shows. It makes the Almar look big, but this shows some of the things that Moki really do well. So we got a really sharp, highly polished blade. With stainless steel body to this. I mean, it weighs nothing. With the mother of pearl inlay, and then inlaid into the mother of pearl, we've got a little bit of abalone and 2 bits of coral. Now, it's beautifully done. The transitions are so smooth and lovely. It's just about perfect. The other side is satin. Again, it says Japan. I've no idea what the steel is on these. Probably nothing special. It may be OS 8 or VT10. I suspect nothing more than that. But also, when you compare these two knives, there's certain things about the way this liner is done, and the way that it's made for a key ring. I really do believe that these are made by the same people, which is really a good thing, because Almar was never a manufacturer of knives. He always had them manufactured for him, and nowadays, of course, they're made in China. And you know, Almar's been dead so long; they're not necessarily his designs anymore. They certainly don't have his input, his passion for design. So yeah. Now this one comes with a little leather There's a little leather necklace for it, and then it has this little leather sheath which has Moki's stamp on it. And basically you fold this knife and then you can slide it up into this and wear it as a neck knife. Now it's probably more a lady's neck knife than a gentleman's, or you could just wear it as a pendant. I don't think it's a very practical user. I don't think we'd go out and go battening down trees with it. But it is a knife. It is sharp. It does cut. And most of all, it's pretty, as is this. This will make a brilliant ladies' makeup knife for sharpening their makeup pencils and things. Anyway, these are my mother of pearl knives. I think they're all the ones I've got. I had to think about it quite carefully, actually, because I'm sure there are more. Now, there is one I'm after. I'd really like all the tailor's patterns in mother of pearl. I'm not rich, I can't afford them. But I saw one the other day, which is this pattern, the Serpentine twin blade. And I asked how much it was. £330, she says. Too much for me, I'm afraid, these days. So it'll have to remain on the shelves for now. Unless anybody out there wants to be generous and buy their friendly neighbourhood slick slices a Christmas present. No, I'm being facetious. The next one we might do either be Desert Ironwood or it'll be Stag. But here we are. That is my mother of pearl knife collection for now. If you like this stuff, please give it a thumbs up. It does certainly helps. Make a comment. That also helps. And subscribe. And remember to ring the bell. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye.